PirateCast. Yeah, well, it's PirateCast. They're the leaders of the pack. On Wednesday night, they're the voice of the tracks, like the warriors of Shell, the bee on your tail. The pirate pride will never fail. The Speedway world thinks the pod is us. Getting more wins than Richard Lawson. Hey, we get the scoops in record time, bringing more light than the sweet Caroline. And we're on roll. Everybody knows us, spinning our heads like the Toby's donuts. For an hour each, we don't need a tag. Gotta let us cook like Captain Zach. Being big like the number 8 man. Skulls and crossbows all the way to the end. Fire the cannon, seat 1 to 15. It's the PirateCast. Hey, you know what I mean.
It's Wednesday night and we're not at the track, so you've got to put up with us, unfortunately. You know, if you want 14 exciting speedway riders bombing around, giving it their all, you're not got that. You're going to be stuck with us. So welcome to PirateCast. Lee here along with Beth. Beth, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Now, we do have to preface this, that I've about 30, 40 minutes ago had a massive clap of thunder near me, so I hope the power doesn't go out. You've been without power for most of the last 24 hours.
Yep.
But even if we have little hamsters running around, we will somehow manage to get the show running. So there we go. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We've got some great amount of listeners already coming into the chat room. Kevin Grant is with us. We'll get back to your comment in just a moment. Emma is there. Evening. Darren Baker. Good evening, Darren. Mark Dale. Betty Lou. How are you? That rhymed, and I didn't mean it to. Lauren Cutler is there. Yeah, why not? Lauren's there, and Clive Tyres. No live speedway tonight. So the very next best thing is PirateCast, and finishes off there with RIP Pete. As you saw before we start the festivities and get all excited about speedway, we do have to say we had the sad news this past week of Peter Grove, who, even if you never met him or didn't know him, you would recognize him as part of Poole Speedway. I think he's been there ever since I started going to Poole Speedway. Always a friendly face, always very happy and really happy to say hello. So a face that will certainly be missed down there. Not discounting, I know we've had another sad passing over this past week as well. I'm not going to name names, but the people out there will know who I'm talking about. Again, not wanting to get too specific with it, but our thoughts with everyone who has lost anyone in association with the Poole Speedway family over the last week or so. So a bit of a sad week, but Pirates are going to be riding for them, and we've got a busy weekend coming up with Plymouth, and then next week back down at Poole Stadium. So thank you once again. We've got lots of people. Colin is in the chat room as well. Hi all. We've got the checker flag. We've got the thumbs up. We've got the pirate logo. It's all good. Let's go to Kevin's question before we get started. So Kevin said he's just back from the Northern Tour. Why are so-called fans so quick to find fault? Support in good and bad times. If you can only moan, move on. Kevin and Jan. So what have you got to say to that, Beth?
I couldn't say it better myself, honestly. I'm going to be careful how I say this.
We're unofficial. You can say what you like.
Yeah, true. This is what I don't understand. And I think everyone will have seen a lot of stuff on social media, especially after Berwick, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Some people are just never happy. I mean, even after last Wednesday, the amount of stuff on social media, and I just don't get it. If you're a fan, support the team. I don't care if they've won, if they've lost, support the team. You've got to remember, as much as they are there for entertainment, they are real people who are getting on a speedway bike and are putting everything at risk every single time they ride, and we've seen that. We've watched that happen, and I can't understand some people's mentality. I mean, these guys are amazing. They're so good. And if they've had a bad night, why are we attacking them? Turn it around, lift them up, support them. If anything, they need more support because they don't need anyone else to beat them up. They'll do it enough themselves. You know,
Yeah.
they know if they've had a bad night, they don't need other people to tell them. So I just think leave it alone. Keep it positive. Why do we have to be miserable? I don't get it.
I think it's one of those things that, and I know we've said this before, and the Pirates fans, especially the long-term Pirates fans, are used to seeing us in like the Premiership or the Elite League, winning absolutely everything, being the most dominant team. When things, you get 10 out of 10, and that's brilliant. Even if you get 9 out of 10, which is better than most teams 6 out of 10, they're still going to be moaning that it's not good enough. You do get a little bit complacent, and that's not something necessarily that people do consciously, but they see Paul and they expect excellence from top to bottom every single time. Anything less than that is not going to be sort of tolerated by them, to be honest. And something that we will throw in a few more of these comments, but Darren Baker says totally agree with Kevin. And something Emma's said, and I know both you and I, Beth, have we'll be upfront with it. We spoke to Danny Ford yesterday about an upcoming project, which you'll probably find out a little bit more in the coming weeks. But she said, personally, I'm really enjoying the season so far. The challenge is exciting, and for the management and the riders, it's not a lot of fun all the time, but some people are only happy with 60-30 absolute whitewash wins of the other team, but then other people say it's boring racing. If it's closer, it's more exciting, but then we're not doing well enough. You're never going to please 100% of the fans. And I suppose that's what's good about sport, isn't it? Everyone's got their own opinion, and it makes it for an exciting time. Clive Tyres is spot on. Kevin Grant and Lauren Cutler, so happy that Jack Holder won the GP or the Go, but I'm putting GP. In Warsaw, cracking GP, and Jack Holder, former Pirate, winning the GP, so that's always good. Shall we dive straight into the show before doing all of our stuff? Welcome to PirateCast, everyone, the 100 Pirates podcast, unofficial Pool Pirates talk show, and the number one Pool Pirates podcast on the planet. It's official. If you can find another Pool Pirates podcast that's got higher ratings than us, then let us know about it. But as far as I know, we are the best on the planet. Thank you for tuning in, as always. If you're watching on YouTube right now live, we do appreciate you tuning in, and if you could make sure you click that subscribe button, like it, turn your notifications on, all that stuff, that's really cool, really helps us out. And if you're watching it after the fact, again, thank you so much for tuning in and watching us. And if you're listening back on the podcast, the audio version of the show, you can check us out over on our YouTube channel. Best place for all of our links is thepiratecast.com. And again, we're going to keep pushing it. It's our TikTok channel, which Beth is doing an amazing job at running, which is over at PirateCast Pod on TikTok. And what's the latest over on TikTok? What have we got over there, Beth?
So the last proper video that went up was a little bit of a rundown of last week's race night, which was a very fun video. I like putting it together. We did hit 300 followers, so we're growing pretty quick. I think there was something like 100 in about a week, something like that. There's, due to some stuff that I'll keep quiet about for now, but there are going to be a few changes, but exciting changes, I think. And we've got, in the next couple of days, hopefully, a new video. Obviously, we were asking a lot of Pirates in press day, just a few fun questions and things like that. And hopefully the next one, I'm aiming for it to be up tomorrow, so keep your eyes out. It's been a little bit crazy the past few days, so editing has taken a little bit longer, but there is more on the way. We've still got something like 5 questions or so,
I think so,
that are still to come out, so keep an eye out for that, because there's still some pretty funny stuff on the way that I'm quite excited about.
So that's going to be good. And again, we have got some news on the horizon. We're not in a position to share it just yet, but in the next week or so, you will learn a little bit more about some further involvement that we're going to be having with the Pirates. So stay tuned for that exciting news. I'm gonna completely move from what we're supposed to be doing. There's a new magic button on the screen here, and I'm gonna push it and see if I can do something. There's a new feature on our software here.
We have not
Does this
discussed this.
work? No, we
What are you
haven't.
doing?
I've just pushed something. What is that? Oh, it's not working. I don't think it's working. No,
What was it?
it's there's a little button that says show comments on stage. So I think there's supposed to be a little bar up on the side, which physically shows all the comments of people that are watching, but it's not working. It says it's in beta at the moment. It is not working. So there we are. Feedback. Okay. Sorry, testing things live on air. Right. Okay. Let's flip back 7 days ago. We were, well, I wasn't. I had sort of everyone I know in hospital last Wednesday, so I was at home, unfortunately. But Beth, you were down there. Poole versus Scunthorpe at 55-35, cracking win for the Pirates again. Really, really strong performance for the Pirates, especially Anders Rowe, who was on fire all evening. And was that the evening when Richard slowed down and let him over the line for the maximum, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great.
in heat 15. So Anders gets a full maximum there, 15 points from 5 rides. Richard Lawson 13 plus 1. Louis Kerr 8 plus 2. Zach with 8. Tobias 6 plus 1. Good one for Toby coming back into form at home there. Paul Stark with 4. Daryl Richings with a point there, but looking very competitive. Really, really competitive there, Daryl Richings. And again, Matt Martin, bless him, one of the nicest guys I think we've ever interviewed. But I think he'd agree, not really up to the pace. And Daryl, looks a lot more competitive and really looks like he's up for the challenge. But what was the team performance like from your perspective, Beth? I watched it on the stream, but you were there in person.
Yeah, I think the team really came together. You know, we were coming off some hard times. Obviously, we were coming off of quite a rough race night before that as well down at Poole. So it was nice to see all the guys were really coming together. They were working hard for it. You could see they were fighting. There was some stuff that wasn't always working straight away, but you could see they were getting comfy as the meeting went on. And just going back to some of the comments and stuff, 55-35, that's a 20-point win. So don't know what anyone has to complain about when it comes to that, especially when you've got, in that Scunthorpe team, you've got a former Pirates captain in there. You've got Steve Worrell. So,
yeah,
I don't think there's anything to complain about, especially when you have, I'll say it, I think Scunthorpe have one of the strongest reserve pairings in the championship with Zane and Declan Kennedy. They were really, really on fire. They did really well.
Yeah, paid 9 and paid 7 each there. So that's, you can't get wrong. But they picked up on where Simon Lambert fell down. He only got 1 plus 1.
Yeah, which was a bit of a strange one, really. But, I think everyone did really well. Everyone's scoring. Daryl Richings, I do think, was more on the pace than I think maybe we've seen with Matt. And I do think if you were there sort of afterwards, obviously Nigel was doing interviews on the Greyhound track and Zach was there with Daryl, just kind of looking at the starts, talking him through some stuff. So look forward to seeing how he does next week coming into Poole, because I think he's probably had a bit of a talk through the best places to look for on the track and how to work that. So yeah, I think it was a really nice team performance. They bounced back. They knew they had something they had to prove as well. And I think that comes with a lot of pressure too. So I think they did really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Clive Tyre said there, the Kennedys move into the 1 to 5 now for Scunny. So using them as kind of the trump card isn't going to work for them anymore, giving them the extra sort of reserve change rides. They are going to be in the main body of the team. And also, let's not forget, while we're on the subject of the GP, we mentioned it earlier, let's not forget Brady Kurtz, who I think now is officially number 1 in the world or number 1 in the GP standings.
Yeah. Points-wise, he's number 1.
Yeah, so I mean, again, another former Poole rider, and it's nice to see Brady get his get what he deserves really, and get there. We always knew when he was riding for Poole, him and Jack, similar sort of era, that they were going to be destined for big things. And he's there. Brady,
especially, I mean, it's his first year properly in the GP lineup, isn't it? So to be there is amazing. That's a really, really good turnout. So I hope it carries on for him.
Exactly. Let's shift back very quickly to the chat. Mark Dale says, I think Louis should go to 3 and Anders to 5. I know for a fact that is something that is sort of being looked at. There are 3 riders really that you can interchange with 3, 4, and 5. That being Zach, Anders, and Louis. I think all of them at the moment have had ups and downs, and I think at times I don't think any of them thus far have put themselves in a position where you can lean on them as a 100% solid number 5. And having Anders at sort of number 3 or 4 is a nice little trump card to go against some of the easier riders, and you're guaranteed to get him a win there. That's not saying Anders, can't beat the top guys, because clearly he did that last week at Poole. But you've got to be very strategic with how it works, and there is some experimentation going on, I know, with different combinations there. So we're going to see how that works over the coming weeks. Back to Paul v. Scunthorpe last Wednesday. A lot of people, again, going back to these negative comments, a lot of people talking about the state of the track, and it was a terrible track and not great. And again, I think something Midlow posted on social media shortly after the meeting on the unofficial Speedway Banter, Poole Pirates unofficial Speedway Banter page, was that the track was exactly how the riders wanted it, and they loved it. There was a lot of grip on the outside, probably a bit more than we have come to expect, and even that's saying something, because there's normally a lot around the outside at Poole, but there was so much grip around the outside there. It was very hot the last sort of few days leading up to the meeting, and again, Danny was there the night before up until 10 o'clock at night, trying to absolutely soak the track and let the water sink right down to the bottom. The problem is you cannot water the track during the meeting. When it's the inside of the track has not got a lot of material on it, it does get very slippery. But as far as the riders were concerned, they absolutely loved it. So
I think when they were doing their interviews on the Greyhound track afterwards, Zach said it was exactly how they wanted it to be. I think it was Zach. Said it was exactly how they wanted it. I think he was there the day before as well, just kind of keeping an eye on things. So to be honest, I think it's hard to talk about the track, because until you're one of the 14 riders that are actually on it, you don't know exactly how it's feeling. You don't know what they're liking, what they're not liking. So leave it up to them to kind of make the comments on that. And they're very open about it too. They'll say when the track isn't what they want it to be. If you listen to our last episode with Midlow, he spoke about the track quite a lot. So, I think there's not too much of a problem last week on that one, which is nice. So hopefully we can kind of maintain that now, and the boys know that that's something that they're happy with.
I think it's one of those things where you're trained to see that the GP tracks, especially the temporary ones that look like completely even from the inside to the outside all the way around. That's what your brain is trained to think is the perfect speedway track. At the end of the day, if the riders are happy with it, and it, you can't see it doesn't provide exciting racing. I mean, a couple of times we saw Anders almost riding the wall of death around the outside of people, and how he hung onto the bike, I don't know, but he was absolutely flying and cracking racing, some really good passing in that meeting. Shall we move on to our the Scottish Tour, which is the main reason we didn't do a show last weekend? We wanted to, obviously we normally do a show on a Friday night, or at least one on a Friday night, as we had the Scottish Tour of Edinburgh and Berwick over 2 nights, Friday and Saturday. And we decided to hold off until tonight, as there was no speedway. But first of all, let's hit Edinburgh versus Poole. This was the one on Friday the 16th. We managed to get a win out of it. I think a lot of people have said we were quite lucky to get that, especially seeing as they had Victor Palavara at reserve, who had, was it 7 rides in the end and scored 19 points. Even with him there, we still managed to basically just ran out of rides. They couldn't put him in anywhere else. So even with that, we still won 48-42. Did you watch that one on the stream?
Yeah, I did.
What are your comments on that one?
I think again, it's a hard one to talk about. I do think luck came into it a little bit. I know Edinburgh had quite a few mechanical issues that potentially kind of played into our favour.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we don't know how things could have worked out even had they not had those mechanical issues. So I think we did really well. Someone like Victor Palavara, I mean, he won all but one of his rides. He was amazing.
Mm.
So that's a really, really a hard one to beat. I mean, you had Richard Lawson at scoring 13, Anders with an 11+1. That's exactly what you want to see from those guys as well. Tobias on a 7+3. So I think he must have quite liked Edinburgh, I want to say. I'm not going to talk for him, but it did look like he was quite comfy there. Louis on that 6+2, I think maybe he would have wanted a tiny bit more, but there's nothing wrong with a 6+2. He does what he needs to do. Paul Stark on a 5+3, way more than we need from a reserve, technically, way above his average.
More than we expect.
Yeah. And Zach with a 4+2, I think he'll say as well, it might not have been his best night of racing. He just didn't look like he had the speed behind him. Normally he does all right there. So yeah, I don't know what was going on. He might have had some mechanical stuff going on. And Daryl Richings on a 2, which is exactly what you need to see, isn't it? So, he met the average that he needed to. So I think they did do well as a team. You could see they were coming together. There was a lot of them sort of helping each other out and working on different things, talking about the track. I know they did have to stop for a little while as well because of the sun. I think it was coming into bend 3. So they did have to wait a little while. I think from the look of it, that probably helped, if anything, because they were able to just have some time to chat with each other, get used to things. They weren't in a rush. So I do think they did really well. I know a lot of people are going to say, and I did say, there was a little bit of luck there, but there's nothing to say that either way we couldn't have turned it around and won it anyway. I think they all did great.
Yeah, very true. And Oscar Polis quit Speedway in the UK after this match.
I don't know what happened there because, I mean, he came out and won his first heat. And then was it he retired? I can't remember if he fell off or if he had bike problems. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think he was it a crash?
Did he
I
fall?
don't know. Did he fall or was it a retirement? Maybe bike problems.
I can't quite remember. And then didn't ride after that. And the next day turned around and said he wasn't riding in the UK anymore. Which was, I don't think anyone was quite expecting that, but there we are.
No, I mean, is that the first person who's just up and quit after they've been beaten by Paul? I don't know. We try and be objective here and not political, but is that the first person who is up and quit after being beaten by Paul at their home track? That's a bit of trivia. That's something Rob Dyer could get on that. See if there is any
there we go.
truth to the fact that's the first person who has quit after being beaten by Paul at their home track. Let's do it. So that was a victory for us over there on Friday versus Edinburgh. The second half of the Scottish Tour, Saturday the 17th at Berwick. We lost by 2 points, which is, really, really gutting. Richard rode his socks off up there, 15+2 from 6 rides. Louis Kerr with 10. He seems to be now coming back into form and settling down a little bit, which is nice. Anders with 8. Zach 4+1. Did he? Zach got excluded in his first ride there, didn't he? It was a tape thing.
There was a bit of kind of back and forth as to kind of, was it fair, was it not? As of the rules, he was the rider who touched the tapes, so that does come with an exclusion, unfortunately. I believe, if I remember rightly, Daniel Hume was actually, he did kind of jump it first a little bit, so did that sort of throw him off, but Daniel didn't touch the tapes, Zach did. So that was just unfortunate, really. Yeah, which was a bit of a shame, but oh well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got your what ifs. I mean, there are so many what ifs you can say at the end of a speedway meeting. You know, if that hadn't have happened, you know, that could have been the extra 2 points we'd need to beat Berwick and get some points out of it, or some more points out of it, I should say. But you know, still a solid performance. I think Tobias will be a little bit upset with his performance up there. Again, he's not so familiar with a lot of these tracks. I mean, it's probably only the sort of second or third time he's ridden up to some of these Scottish tracks. So difficult for him, but as we know, Toby is a massive trier. He's always going to give 110% wherever he rides. And I know sort of a couple of lasts to begin with, and then a second and a third. So he certainly picked it up a little bit towards the end of the meeting. Again, Daryl Richings 1+1 picked up a couple of points for us. You know, it's all you can ask really for Daryl, especially as he's just come into the team. Lawrence just said he withdrew with an aggravated wrist injury.
Yes.
So that's going to be that was what's his name? Oscar Polis, yeah. Polis. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Polis, I think.
Polis. Let's go with Polis. I mean, it doesn't matter anyway because we're not going to be able to. We're not announcing it.
You don't have to talk about it.
And Kevin says the tapes were held for a long time in every heat. That's interesting.
I did think that. Does anyone know? And I think they were talking about it on the stream a little bit. Did Berwick have the sort of automated tapes thing, or was it ref holding the tapes? Because I know they spoke about it quite a lot, and I thought every single heat, it was quite a long time.
Yeah.
Which I don't think will have helped anything.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong in saying this. If someone in the chat could clarify, I think it's, and I'm not sure if it's all championship tracks now, but there's a sort of setup where a certain percentage of the time it's manual and the ref does it, and a certain percentage of the time it's kind of randomized by a system. And I don't know if that's every track. I don't know if it's every meeting. I don't know if it's across the board. But yeah, if we get some clarification on that, if anyone in the chat knows about that. Lawrence says that Zach moved, but Hume broke the tapes.
He did, technically. Hume was the one to break them. But yeah, Zach's fault. Touch them first, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. So that's
and I'm not one to go against them, but
now we've got
Midlows.
I had to read it in detail because you know, when Midlow comes in and puts the word bangers on a on a message, you have to read it. You never know what he's going to come out with. So Midlow, just cook Zach and Ben, their bangers and mash, not just manager but a chef as well. There we go.
Well, I hope they've got PirateCast on as their entertainment.
Yeah. We've got to say nice things now.
I mean, Zach didn't do anything. He didn't touch the tapes. He was amazing.
Whoa, hang on. Not Zach didn't do anything. You can't say that. Zach didn't do anything bad, is what you're trying to say.
Sorry.
But no, I appreciate Midlow tuning in from Bailey House with the here you go. Correct.
Which bit was correct?
Which bit was correct?
What you're saying?
Or that Zach did nothing. I suppose probably what he's saying. Anyway, Jamie, I've just clicked on Jamie Reese. Hi, Jamie. Thanks for tuning in. Clive Tyres, I don't believe every track has this transponder system. I always want to say transponster because of Friends, and only a certain few people will know that reference. Oh. If you're listening on the audio version, I've just put up another comment that says Zach did nothing.
There we go. I'll just clip that bit and we'll just post that. Beth says Zach did nothing.
Zach did nothing. Endorsed by Pirates team manager Neil Middleditch. Oh dear. And Liam says, big well done to Louis on top scoring with 16+1 for Sheffield at Kings Lynn. Absolutely.
He did really well.
Do you know what? Yeah, he's absolutely flying in the Premiership at the moment, as is Richard.
Well,
they're both doing really, really well.
I wanted to talk about this. Don't know if anyone else saw on Louis' social media. Potentially the reason why he was struggling a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah.
He had I don't even know what it was. It was a plastic something or other that he found in his tank.
The only thing I can liken it to, you know, when you've got like a plastic tub of something and they've got those sealed edges and you've got to like flip up one of those little bits to
Yeah.
be able to get under, and like it was something about that size that had fallen into his fuel tank. And when he posted that, I think it kind of said to me, do you remember that time at Poole where he was in the lead and then he just sort of lost power going
Yeah.
into the third and fourth bend on his last that last bend of the last lap, and just lost power, and everyone was kicking off about it. Just thought it was him riding, and clearly it must have been something to do with that. But he's found it now,
and I mean, look at the results. So hopefully we're all good.
yeah, exactly. We're through that. Louis has sorted out the plastic fragments in his fuel tank,
I hope
and
so.
Jamie, yes, I saw that, a piece of plastic in his tank, and Colin, Gordon Ramsay equals Midlow.
Oh, who would win if you did like MasterChef? Gordon Ramsay and Midlow.
Let's do
My
it.
money's on Midlow, to be honest.
Book it in. I'd want to see if anyone can get Photoshop sorted and get a picture of Midlow with Gordon Ramsay's hair. I think that would be quite good.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd love it.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's find out. Let's get Gordon Ramsay to do some bangers and mash as well.
Yeah.
And then we'll see.
I mean, Midlow said he's got a lot more time on his hands now because of, retirement and, he's doing a bit of golf. He's got to be getting bored in his spare time. So running a string of restaurants around the sort of Dorset area, I think that would be really good.
What would you call it? Just Midlows? Or
Oh, yeah, just Midlows. A nice sort of like arty script font, Midlows. I can see it in neon lights. It'd be really good. Midlows, yeah.
There we go. New business venture.
Sorted.
We can start it with like on one of the bends at the track. We'll have like a
That'd be
little
good.
pop up or something, and then it can grow.
Yeah, next to Gourmet Grill, Midlows. So maybe next to the NID corner, just there, so it's right next to them for any refreshments.
Oh, and we can have Tobias's pastry thing from the other week as well.
Yes, like every rider
Midlow
can.
Munch. I love this.
Midlow Munch. God, that could be taken so wrong. Anyway. So
at least you're getting quality content. Who needs racing when you've got? I'm not going to say it.
At the end of the day, if you want speedway, if you want serious stuff, get down to Wimborne Road, get down to your local track if you're not a Poole fan, and you can watch some speedway. If you want inane chatter from speedway fans, you can tune in to us. Kevin Grant says Midlow plus MasterChefs, Ben and Zach. There we go.
I'd love to see that.
I mean, Midlow.
To be fair, Ben and Zach Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to see that. There we go. PirateCast special.
Yeah.
And we'll have the three of them and see who cooks up the best dinner.
PirateCast Master. We have to wait until Ben's arm is better though, because he's kind of at a disadvantage.
Is that an unfair advantage? Well, disadvantage.
Yeah, exactly. Midlow's Meals on Wheels. My God.
Does he go around and deliver them on a bike? Like...
Wow, we're getting well into this. We're getting well off. So anyway, if you want to know what's going on with the Pirates, don't listen to us because we're. Oh, Rob, no, Midlow the naked chef. I don't think anyone needs to see that. Let's go back to Rob's previous.
We're never going to be allowed to do a PirateCast again. We're going to be getting phone calls from Danny.
Yeah, what are you talking about? So this is going back onto serious stuff. We were talking about the transponders and the electronic system to launch the tapes. You're just thinking about Midlow now, aren't you?
I'm really sorry. I'm just picturing him going around like, ba-ding, ba-ding.
What, chucking out sausages at people?
Not just sausages.
All right, okay.
Like meals, like little plates, and they're like wrapped with tinfoil over.
Oh my God, with a chef's hat on. Even Midlow's going. Midlow's Meals. That's good.
There we go.
I expect to see a week. Get it sorted. Right. Anyway, back to proper speedway stuff. So we're talking about the randomizing of the tapes going up. So I think it was suggested at some point. My God, they're still putting stuff. We'll get back to that in a minute. Otherwise, we're never going to get to Rob's point here. So we're talking about the tapes going up. I think the original idea was number one, to have it 100% completely randomized, because we'd heard in seasons previous that once a rider knows who the ref's going to be, they kind of get an idea of how long they hold the tapes and when to sort of anticipate the start. So bringing this randomization in of sort of computerized lifting of the tapes, so you've got that and a combination of the ref doing it themselves would make it a little bit fairer for everyone. So Rob said, I believe there are 2 electronic systems, one for timing, which is not in use at all tracks yet. And I know Richard Lawson's had some dealings with not having charged properly the transponder thing, and random starting operated by the referee. So that's something else. There's so much more going on in the chat room. We'll get to that in a minute. So it's not in use in all tracks yet, and random starting operated by the referee. So I would like to think that's going to be incorporated at some point. Again, Speedway, all the tracks are very different. They're all operated differently. It might not be as easy for all of them to get it in as some of the others. Let's get on to the important stuff now. So Midlow says mid and nid for the meals. Clive Tyre said Beth's lost it, which she had. And Midlow says Ben and Zach Cook with a lowercase c, not an uppercase c. They lost the recipe for toast.
I'm not even sure he's joking.
No, probably not. Okay, let's.
Oh dear.
McMidlow's drive-through says Rob Tyre. Oh
Midlow's
dear.
milkshake.
Midlow, yeah. I bet his milkshake machine will be broken, just like McDonald's. Anyway, moving on. We've got we've kind of got a double header with Plymouth, haven't we? We've got this coming Saturday, I believe it is, at Plymouth. We are going to be away, and Plymouth are after a guest. And have you heard who they've got in as a guest?
Am I correct in saying Chris Harris?
You are correct in saying Chris Harris. And even if you guessed, I don't think it would have been that difficult to work out who you go for. So, yes, Chris Harris is going to be guesting for, is it Nikolai Clint he's guesting for?
Yeah.
In Plymouth. So we are going to have a bit of a difficult time down there. If you're going down there to Plymouth to check out the Pirates versus Plymouth, make sure you give our boys all the support you can. They will need it. Plymouth, obviously not a very easy track for a lot of our guys. It's quite small. It's quite tight. It's not one of those ones you can go, full throttle and blast all around the track. It is quite small and technical. But Chris Harris, you stick him on a bike there, and he's going to be a threat wherever it is. So, what do you think? How is it going to? We have to be realistic with this, don't we? We're just coming off sort of a loss away from home against Edinburgh. Against Berwick, I should say, or win away against Edinburgh, and obviously handily defeated Scunthorpe last week. What do you think is going to be the score? Should we do some predictions?
Oh, God.
Obviously, we want to support the Pirates. We want to be positive, but I think again, he's one of those tracks that is a little bit difficult for some of our guys, and again, it just doesn't suit all riders' styles.
Yeah, the thing is, we can do really well at Plymouth. We didn't have the best time there last time we were there.
Yeah.
But that's not to say we can't. Hopefully we learn from that, and we go into it strong on Saturday. I think, and a lot of people have spoken about this. I think there was an article in the Echo either today or yesterday.
I can't see it now. Sorry to interrupt. I can't flip and see it because they do that stupid. If you want to read this, you have to subscribe and pay us money. No, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, rant over. Carry on.
Oh dear.
Continue.
This is the most random pirate cast I've done so far. Anyway, I don't even know what my point was. It was on the Echo. There we go.
Yep.
I think. Honestly, I think it's all in the starts. I really do. I think if the boys can make the starts, I think we'll be fine. I think if they don't, then we can struggle. And that's just guesswork. And looking at how we've been so far, I think our boys are brilliant at racing, but I do think Plymouth is a hard one to race at times. just from kind of what I've seen before. But yeah, I think honestly, I think a lot of it is in the starts. If they can make those starts, I think we're good to go, if I'm honest. I do think Chris Harris is going to be on form as he always is. But to me, Plymouth is a team that we can beat.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I
Rider
don't.
versus Rider, Poole
Yeah.
is definitely the superior team.
And if all of our guys are on it, which hopefully they are and they should be, and everything's sorted, I don't see any reason why we can't beat them. So that's my word on it. As long as they make the
Easy for us to
starts.
say.
Yeah. I can't ride a normal bike, let alone a motorbike.
You topple over on the pedal bike. Oh dear. It'll be cool. It'll be fine. Get your predictions in the chat room. What do you think the score's going to be this Saturday up at Plymouth? Simon Barry says 50-40 to Poole. Just some confirmation about Nikolai Clint. Lauren says Clint is in Poland, hence Chris Harris is a guest. And Clive ties Nikolai's missing Saturday and next Wednesday. I believe Joe Thompson is also missing Saturday World Under 21s. So there we go. Oh yes, and Rob, yeah, KO Cup, not league. That's important to say. Mark Dale, depends on the weather on Saturday in regards to what the score is going to be, which is very true.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It depends on the track conditions as well. So
yeah, the world beating Michelle Clough drops to reserve. Nice. We're not going to get political. Okay, let's flick back to again. We keep going back to this this gate thing. Midlow has some insight for us in regards to the gate thing, and again, we're talking about the randomized starts. So at Berwick, they said that the transponders are supposed to be 1.4 to 3. So I'm guessing that's the tapes will go after the green light. It will go anytime between 1.4 seconds to 3 seconds, and then at Berwick it went past 4 seconds, which is no good if you're holding the throttle flat. Exactly. I mean, it's not like a clutch in your car. These things overheat very, very, very quickly. 4 seconds doesn't sound like it's a long time, but when you're revving the balls off of a speedway bike, it is going to do some damage if you're holding the clutch in for that amount of time. So again, I think there's a lot of work to do. I like the idea, I like the concept of it, trying to make it a bit more fair for everyone, but maybe a bit more work to be done on the technical side there for a lot of tracks. Let's get back to the scores for this Friday. Liam Smith reckons 49-41 to Poole. Simon Barry says light rain is forecast at the moment. I mean, hopefully it's not rained off. If we get some light rain in the run up to Saturday, and then on Saturday it's fine, that'd be nice. Create a nice deep track and get some moisture on the underside of it. Midlow, problem at Plymouth is you can have small track, but it's not wide enough. The minute you get in trouble, nowhere to go but the fence. So gating is paramount. Absolutely.
Was I right? Oh.
You were right. There you go. So when are you taking over as team manager?
Could you imagine? My general advice is go faster.
Yeah. So what we need to do in this one is if you
go faster,
go get round
the
track.
Just go faster than them.
Just ahead of everyone else. Yeah, that's what we need to do.
Right, how do we do that? Well, you just go faster. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, copy and paste. I'm going home. See you later. Mark Dale, 48-42 to Poole. So everyone's thinking sort of like a 6, 8, 10-point victory. Hopefully Midlow goes with us on that. David Lovell, one man doesn't make a team. If we make sure every race with Bomber, we three, they haven't gained anything. If one man doesn't make a team, if we make sure every race with Bomber, okay. So what I think he's getting at there is
real.
Oh right, yeah. So even if he wins, as long as
anything.
if
team riding comes back into that, then doesn't it? You know.
Exactly, and I think we've got some people who are good team riders on the team. Zach certainly knows what he's doing in regards to team riding. We've got people like Richard and Paul and Louis, obviously, who are, I've got to say it politely, but veterans. They've been around a few years. They know the tricks of the trade and sort of trying to hold up people to try and make things work better for them. So yeah, on those tracks, it is a case of not sort of going faster than everyone else, but you do have to play it a little bit tactically. And where there isn't enough room for sort of 4 abreast on the straight, you know, block the track up, stop people from coming around. Again, easy for us to say, but yeah, as Midlow said there, once you get out of the gates and get out in front, that's a good place to be. And then, of course, after that one, we've got the return Wednesday at down at Wimborne Road. We'll be there a week today, or I'll be there a week today. You're going to miss one, aren't you?
Yeah, I won't actually be there. I'm a bit gutted.
Yeah. Tell people where you're going, because I think it's a good reason to. It's not that that you just don't care and you can't be bothered to go. You have got something very important that you're going to be doing. So say a little bit about it, because it's good to good to promote stuff like this.
Yeah. So anyone who doesn't know, in my day-to-day life, I am a dance teacher and choreographer. And essentially, second year running, I am choreographing a piece for a charity event called Dance Beats Cancer, which essentially helps young people diagnosed with cancer, or young people that have someone in the family that are diagnosed with cancer, especially those that have to become young carers for people who are going through treatment. And there's a lot that kind of goes behind it. It's an amazing event. If any support is amazing for them, they are so good. Wendy and Fraser, who organised the whole thing, are absolutely amazing. The event is brilliant. So as much as I'm gutted I am not at Speedway next week, I am doing something for a very good cause. And obviously, as a lot of you guys know, something that is very, very near and dear to our hearts. So it's a big one. It's one that I can't miss. Yeah, if you're ever interested in learning more, go on Facebook, Dance Beats Cancer or Youth Cancer Trust. It's all the details are there. So that is where I will be. But I will be missing you guys as well.
You'll be watching the stream in the corner on your phone.
Yeah, just very much sat like that. Sorry guys, go warm up.
Something I did know actually, but forgot to I didn't remember, was that Midlow is at a wedding this Saturday. So as far as I know, I think it is. Yeah, do it. I think it is Danny who's going to be doing the team manager job this Saturday. So
give me a call after. I mean, my advice: go faster. I think is all they need, really. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think I'll be great. I'll do it.
On the topic of Midlow, Rob Dyer says Midlow and a 2-2 flipping burgers. I don't.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
Wow. Okay. That's not me saying that. That's you. That's not the official line of PirateCast. Mark Dale says, "Do you think Tobias should be in the Premiership now?" I think, yeah. We spoke to Tobias at the start of the season, and he was, I think, very much prepared for being in the Premiership. I think he's still got a little bit of work to do in regards. Yeah, he's got a whole new setup this year. He's bought new machinery. He's got a mechanic. He's definitely stepped up his game, but I think he's with Toby. He tries so hard all the time, and I think at some points, if he doesn't do well in one race, he'll try super sort of over hard the next race and get even more frustrated if it doesn't work out 100%, and he's too much of a trier if that's the thing. So I think once he settles down, we know Toby will be fine. I'd love to see him in a Premiership team. I think he would slot in as a reserve or as a second string at some point in a Premiership team, maybe later on in this year to cover for injury or team restructuring. But certainly next year I think he'd be absolutely there as a Premiership rider.
I think as well it'd help him. I mean, all the boys say the more time you have on the bike, the better. And I think him being in the Premiership would only do him the world of good anywhere. I think it's something that we would see the impact of at Poole as well. I think he would learn a lot. I think, I think he could really do well. He's such a fighter
Mm.
as well. I don't think you can see anyone else who is going to fight as hard as Toby, and I would love to see him in a Premiership team. I think that's something that I know he's definitely aiming for, and I think it's something I would love to see him get to do, because I think it'd do him the world of good.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob Dyer says, no, sorry, needs to prove consistency in Championship. Absolutely agree. And I think he would agree with that as well. He's certainly, I think he just needs to settle down a little bit, and once he's in his zone, as he did sort of the second half of last season, that's the rider we want. That's the rider that we know he can be. And I think once he gets there, he will definitely up his game. Midlow says he's worried about Rob, thinking about Midlow in a 2-2 flipping burgers.
I hope you're not eating your dinner at the same time as this, because
oh God, what, Rob or
no, Midlow?
Oh, Midlow, right? Okay.
He's done the boys' dinner. What about his own?
That's true. I mean, how does that work? Is it Ben and Zach can't make toast apparently. Midlow's done bangers and mash for the boys. Thanks for your concern, Midlow, says Rob. Oh, brilliant. Okay, so with
weird.
It does get weirder, but this is what we like. When do we all get a chance together? Wimbledon Road is quite a big stage. It's a big old stadium. We don't all get to talk to each other all at the same time, so that's fun. If you've got any questions, comments, discussion points, anything like that, just for the last 10 minutes of the show, we are going to be finishing about 8:30 tonight. Throw them in the chat room, and we will we'll pick up on those. But we're looking forward to getting back down the track next Wednesday. It's going to be great. I'm sure. Certainly, with Plymouth at home down at Poole, I think we're going to have you're going to see the Pirates in their sort of primary form. I think everyone's going to be on key. I think it's going to be a great night of Speedway. I do have to give a quick shout out to Emily and Jensen, who are also watching. Hello, guys. I've done that now. I forgot. I've been meaning to do it for about the last 15 minutes, but we've been talking about Midlow in a 2-2 and starting his own Meals on Wheels business.
He's got a lot of thinking to do after this. I mean, there's some new career paths coming, so
yeah. Right, back on the topic of Midlow. Back on the topic of Tobias. Midlow says, got Midlow on the brain. So's everyone. So's Rob. Tobias is riding better this year. He probably shaves his speed off coming into the corners. Wheels in line is quick. Locking up saps your speed. It's about momentum through the corner. He is brave, no doubt. That's it. I couldn't agree more. He's certainly a trier. He does not come off the throttle. He's just going 100% the whole time. But I think he's, again, it is that sort of trying too hard. And, watching the other riders, seeing, picking up on some of the lines. I mean, if he has a quick look at some of the stuff Anders has been doing right around the boards, that's, God, Tobias would be unstoppable. Could you imagine?
I think as well, and this is just my personal opinion on it, but I think you're right. I think he seems to be riding a lot better this year, just in the way of last year. I don't want to use the word messy. That's not what I mean. But, he was just going to try anything and everything, and no one knew where he was going to go. I think including him at times. Maybe just not quite sure what was going on. He was just kind of doing whatever he needed to do. He looks a bit more like he's going through tactics and stuff now. He's still, I mean, like we said, he is not going to give up until that last moment. But he seems a bit more calculated in what he's doing this year. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I've seen the next comment.
Okay.
And I say no. Kevin. Can you make one?
I mean, I'm happy to do it.
Floor's yours.
I've won.
Okay.
Right. Got to prepare for it. Right.
Are you Googling?
And you know why I've got to prepare for it? Right. Okay. No, I've done the
Oh,
Googling already. Here we go. Right. What does a pirate call his dog?
I don't know.
The plank, because he's always walking the plank. Did you hear that?
I hope you enjoyed that, Kevin. Oh,
Well, I liked it.
okay.
Clive Tars, you tell him, Kevin. Darren Baker, no.
Thank you.
You got to give the fans what they want. Okay, Rob Dice has got to go, guys. Midlow Mex Mix waiting. Great banter. Tune in every week for PirateCast, and this is what you get, certainly on the live shows. I think we're going to start wrapping it up here, but it's been a great evening having a chat with you guys. I love these ones where we can just, get everyone in the chat and just mess around, get together, have a laugh. It's what it's all about. If you're listening right now, make sure you get down there on Wednesday night. It's going to be good.
I
What?
want creme brulee. Can I have creme brulee?
What? Oh, hang on a minute. Lauren, right, let's do them in order. Lauren Cutler says, I wish Jack Holder would come back to Pool to ride. That would be brilliant, but I think
I'd love that.
his
I
average
think
would
he's
be
a bit,
ridiculous in the
yeah.
championship.
His average would be like 19.
Yeah, something like that. Great show, guys. Got to go. Making creme brulee for the boys.
I want creme brulee.
Is this Susie using Midlow's account, or is it? I cannot imagine Midlow making creme brulee for Zach and Ben.
Send a picture in, Midlow. Send a picture. When
Absolutely.
it's done, I want to see it.
Just stick it on Facebook. It'll be cool. Yeah, happy with that.
Only the real ones know.
Yeah. Kevin Grant, can we have Sweet Caroline? Not on PirateCast. Potentially not at the stadium, but there may be ways in future that you can request some songs down at Pool Speedway. We're working on it almost as we speak. So thank you very much for that request. We'll see what we can do. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun, and we do appreciate you tuning in and spending some time with us. Again, if you're watching this after the fact, thank you very much for finding us. And if you're listening on the audio podcast, you can check out the video version of this show over on YouTube. Make sure you click the subscribe button, the follow button, all that good stuff. And oh no, Betty Lou, creme brulee, stick to the stuff you know, stick to the status quo. Oh no. That's a High School Musical reference, isn't it?
Yes, and I'm quite disappointed you didn't sing it, honestly.
I'm not singing it. I've already done a pirate joke. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. Anyway, make sure you follow us on all our socials to get all the latest updates on PirateCast. If you head over to thepiratecast.com, you get all of our links from there, especially that TikTok. There is some more content coming very, very soon on that. And we will see you guys next week with more PirateCast. Not sure what day we're doing it, but keep a tune on the socials and we will let you know. So thank you once again. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.